Hey everyone, it's Aaron Hughes from FuDog Group. As you can see from this video, I have some illumination issues going on in my video right now. Basically, because it's getting darker earlier in the evenings, and I'm doing these videos or Zoom calls in the evenings, I need to improve the lighting in my office. And I've got this light up here, which I don't love, but it's okay. And for videos, I prefer not to use it. I've got a ring light right there just in front of me, but it's not quite putting out the right amount of light, which means I have to leave this light on. It's kind of creating this weird thing going on in my head. Anyway, I'm working on it. You're just gonna have to put up with this video the way it is today. Because I didn't want to delay recording a video any longer, or else it's not going to get done today, and I got to get it done today. So I'm going to move in here a little bit closer to the camera, and I'm going to record my video from here so that I don't have this kind of jarring, weird illumination thing going on as much in my head. All right. So the topic that I want to talk about in today's video is a concept that I call sacred time. And sacred time, I would say, is like an event, an appointment, a task, an activity that you schedule in your, say, daily or weekly agenda, and it is so important to you that you won't schedule anything else for that time period. Most of our life is pretty flexible. There might be important things here or there. There might be something that you want to do or attend that you can't schedule around, but when I talk about sacred time, I mean like a regular occurring activity or appointment that's so important to you, you won't schedule anything else around that time. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples to illustrate what I mean, and then we'll talk about some implications and some thoughts around those. So a couple of examples of sacred time. For me, years ago, like I would say, let's see here, 5 to 8 years ago, a sacred time for me was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And I wouldn't schedule anything else during that time. And from 5 to 6 in the afternoon, every single day, I would work out. And I loved it. And Janelle worked out at the same time, not in the same room. We had different workouts, but it kind of became our sacred time to work out. And we wouldn't schedule anything else around that time. We go do our workouts, and it became kind of a habit and a great pattern in life, and I really enjoyed it. Now, I actually backed off of that sacred time. As much as I enjoyed it and as beneficial as it was, I stopped doing it when Janelle got cancer, and then I was more focused on things like bringing her to chemotherapy and making sure, like, cooking meals, for example, or getting her to radiation and that type of thing. So I did kind of back off of that workout sacred time. But in the period of time that I was holding it a sacred time, which is like 5 to 8 years ago, roughly, it was real. Like, I loved it, and it made a huge difference in my life. I look forward to it every day. And so that sacred time became a really, really special time for me. And so I look back on it as a highlight. Another sacred time that Janelle and I started doing, we actually started doing it years ago, but like within the past 6 years, it became like really, truly sacred time. And that was our lunch hour. And during our lunch hour, we would work together to make our lunch. And actually leading up to it, we would like find 3 or 4 recipes that were all kind of similar, and we'd talk about those, which components of each recipe we'd combine to make the recipe we wanted and that kind of thing. Then at noon every day, we'd get together and we'd like cook and eat and clean up, and it was an amazing time. We loved it. And so that noon hour, for the past like 6-ish years or so, was like truly sacred time for us. It was something we look forward to every day. So it was like this daily sacred time. Another thing that a lot of people have as sacred time, I never have, but many other people have, is maybe they get up in the morning and they do something like maybe they meditate or pray. They might journal, they might read something inspiring, that type of thing. So I've given 3 examples of sacred time, but those aren't the only examples, of course. There might be other types of sacred time that occurs daily or weekly. I'm guessing if you're like a parent, maybe you've got like some kind of Friday night activity with your kids, that's sacred time. You won't schedule anything else around that. So there's another example for you. So what you do in your sacred time is really very, personal. It's up to you, depending on what you want in life, your values, your beliefs, your goals, that type of thing. But no matter what you choose as your sacred time, I think it's important that we all have some form of sacred time, whether it's daily or weekly. Every time I look back in my life at some of the highlights of the activities and tasks that I've done, that sacred time activity was always a highlight. So looking back at those workouts I mentioned, like they were great. And although my life doesn't really allow for like the 5 to 6 sacred time like it did, like I would try to figure out how to redo that again, because it was an amazing time. And then of course the lunches that Janelle and I would make together over the past 6 years or so, they were amazing. We had so much fun, like cooking and experimenting with different types of ingredients and recipes. And so that sacred time was like rewarding. It was a highlight memory for me. So, and I'll say that just as a disclaimer, I don't have any sacred time right now, really. My life has kind of been mixed up a little bit, as you probably are aware, for, several months now. And I'm kind of getting back into some patterns and routines and habits and that type of thing. But, I don't have any sacred time right now. But I'm exploring what it is that I want to make for my sacred time, which is what prompted me to think about this video. So that's really what this video is about. It's about me just thinking out loud about sacred time and how I need to start putting some sacred time back into my life. So what is the non-negotiable activities or events or appointments or tasks that I want to have in my life that I don't want to schedule anything around? And I'm thinking about that. I don't have an answer yet. But in fact, while I was traveling just in the past couple of weeks, it kind of came to mind. So it's been like bubbling away in my brain for a bit. And finally, I decided I'm going to do a video about this because I think it's beneficial for everyone. If you don't have sacred time, I would consider also, you may want to consider also creating some activity, appointment, or task that you would call sacred, that is non-negotiable, whether it's daily or weekly, that you want to do, and you won't schedule anything else around that time. I am looking for what I want to do as well. And if you do have something that you would call sacred time by my definition, I'd love it if you put it in the chat below and share with me and share with others what you do for your sacred time. I'm going to bet that there's probably quite a variety of things. Some people focusing on health, like I did a few years ago, or focusing on like relationships, like I did just in the past few years. Maybe there's like a spirituality type of sacred time. Maybe there's a work-related sacred time or wealth sacred time. I bet there are going to be quite a variety. So put in the comments below what you would do for your sacred time. And I'd love to read those. I'm looking for ideas for me to build in my own sacred time. So I'm excited to see what you're going to share. All right, everyone. Have an amazing day.